Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of VMTV Vaults with myself, Kyle Diamond, and my guest for this episode sees the return of Mr. Jake Hadley, who is VM through and through. Jake, as you will definitely know, is the most recent fighter from Cage Warriors to sign for the UFC. This time going through the Contender Series. Jake put on a great performance against Mitch Raposo that in any other circumstances would have seen him get a contract, no doubt. But there were some difficult circumstances. Jake had missed weight earlier in the week, and there were some background things going on, some tension between some of the UFC staff and Jake that he said that he didn't know about. But as it happened, it was a very big story, so I'm sure you would have heard of it. So I don't need to go into too much detail on it, and I'll let Jake tell his side of it anyway. But he got the contract despite all of that, which is a big statement for the Contender Series and a big statement for what Jake is going to go and do in the UFC, because they clearly, well, Dana at least, clearly has big aspirations for Jake, and he's ready to take that flyweight division by storm. Without further ado, Mr. Jake Hadley. I think we should start with the performance itself, mate, because Contender Series, first of all, we didn't expect you to be fighting on the Contender Series. I think most people thought you would just get a UFC contract straight up. So that's another hurdle to come over. But then also Mitch Raposo, a lot of fresh in a lot of people's memories because he was on The Ultimate Fighter just gone. Number one pick for Team Volkanovski as well. And the first round I thought was quite competitive. And then the adjustments you made in the second to go out there and get your own takedown, the fight just changed completely. How did you rate your own performance in there?
It was a good performance. The first round was a competitive round. You'd probably say he won the round because of the takedowns, but going into the fight, I really didn't expect him to try to take me down until I'd hit him or smacked him around a few times. Then I expected him to try to take me down. I didn't expect him to try to take me down so early in the round. Because I'd watched tape of him and I'd thought to myself, he's gonna believe he's at a really bad disadvantage in the jiu-jitsu. Watching him and watching myself, I could see that him and his team would believe that they wouldn't stand a chance with me on the ground. And I feel like him wrestling with me would just open up me to do jiu-jitsu on him and submit him. So I thought he'd know that going in. So realistically, I wanted to beat him in his own game, which is the striking, which is where he wins the majority of his fights and where he looks the best, actually. Is in his striking. So my plan was, to beat him up on the feet and finish him on the feet, to be honest. I didn't feel like I needed to take him down or anything. He had took me down, and basically I was right in the fact what I just said. I nearly had him out of there straight away. I had him with the omoplata, and this submission I like to do, it's like a shoulder lock. But I made a little mistake where I tried to pull the arm up like an arm bar, Dustin Hazlitt style, and that managed to make his arm get out of the shoulder lock. So I kind of messed that up myself. I think he was just doing enough to keep me off him, you know what I mean? But eventually I would have got to him in the stand-up and knocked him out anyway. That's what I believe, and that's what I felt in there. I felt like when I was hitting him, you can't see it as much, but I could see it because I'm looking at him in his eyes. I was hurting him, you know what I mean? So I felt like it was a matter of time. But at the end of the round, I went back to my corner. We made some adjustments. I took him down, took his back and just choked him out as easy as that, you know what I mean? Which shows I could have just done that in the first round if I really wanted to. I just chose, like I just said, to fight him in his game, which is the striking. And to be honest, he's a complete and utter boxer. And I chose to box him. My Thai boxing is really good, but I hardly Thai boxed him. And I tried to beat him in his own game, which I was doing, but he wanted to come down into my world compared to him, which is the grappling. And I thought, well, this guy's, pretty stupid. I nearly had him out of there. The second time he did take me down, he took me down a bit later in the round. I thought, I'd just chill this round. I've lost it now. Come back, get in the next one. So that's what I did. The performance was a good performance. He's a top-rated guy. I've heard guys in America talk about him. It's supposed to be this next big thing. And I just finished him like he's nothing, really. I just got him out there like he's nothing. I keep hearing about this first round, but like one man's won one round against me in my, in about 4 years. So, big deal.
And like you said as well, like it seemed like as soon as it was like, oh, okay, we're grappling, the fight was just like, it rarely happens where the person on top you can tell is at a disadvantage. But it seemed like from the moment he took you down, it was like, oh, this is a bad idea. Like you need to get out of this, because straight away, like you said, you almost wrapped him up immediately. Were you like, did you have much time to prepare specifically for Mitch? Because I know that the Contender Series, the fights can change so much in the lead up, which obviously yours did. So were you able to like train that much specifically with Mitch in mind?
Not really, but I did prepare enough on Mitch to do exactly what I prepared to do on Mitch, as in, I was at the PI the week of the fight, doing the exact same situation training that happened in the fight. So I was preparing off my back with the omoplata game into this sort of game, because I knew these are things that could happen. Because I did expect him to take me down, or try to take me down, but more after I'd whacked him a few times. I thought then he'd try to take me down, but really he tried to take me down straight away. So I was preparing like the omoplata game and stuff like that. I also prepped that same back take off the wall during my time in America, and before my time in America, I was doing all that game. I mean, you can ask the PI on me and the Sydney train. I was drilling that repetitively. Some stuff in the striking I was drilling, cutting him off, marching him down, whatever, because I've seen him fight and that. So I didn't have much time to prep for him. He come in there and surprised me with a few different things which I didn't expect him to do as much. But I did prepare Pacific for him for about 2.5 weeks, you know what I mean? So, which was obviously enough time.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we got to talk about, because the performance itself, if anyone goes in there and makes that performance, they're getting a contract on that show 100%. But obviously it was difficult scenarios, because as soon as you got that win, you went over and apologized for the weight cut, and it was instantly, then it becomes a difficult thing with like, how are they going to take this? Are they going to want to set a precedent against people missing weight, or is the performance so good that they give you the shot anyway? I know you don't want to make excuses, and I'm not trying to, make you make them, but how tough was that week? Because as you said yourself, you've never missed weight. So this isn't a thing that happens. So when people start questioning about, should he be allowed in the UFC, because what if this happens when he's actually there? It's like, well, look at the history. This isn't an occurrence for you.
No. Yeah, the weight cut killed me. The whole week over there was a week plus over there was an odd week. The weight cut was hard. A few things went wrong that we didn't expect to go wrong. Some was holding the water onto my body. I couldn't sweat. I couldn't, do anything like that. So when I was trying to sweat, not much water weight was coming out of me, not much sweat was coming out of me. So that was a problem. Then, I'd missed the weight, and I was given an hour to make the weight, which I believe I would have made the weight in an hour. But I was told by one member of staff to go sit over here. I would go sit down over there, Jay. And then another member of staff 20 minutes later told me, go cut your weight. And I've been like, well, they've told me to go sit here I've been sat here the last 25 minutes, mate. You know what I mean? Like, now I've got 30 minutes to make weight, and you know what I mean? Like, to lose, a pound, which ain't much, but when you've hardly been sweating as it is, with 30 minutes left, I didn't even have 30 minutes left by the time I got to the room, by the time I started sweating. You know what I mean? I had 20 minutes to make the way, so I didn't have enough time to make it. But it's all a learning process, as in, like, you know, it won't happen again. Because even though something held onto my water, I would have still made the weight. Just the time ran out on me. So a few adjustments being made, and it won't happen again. So there we go.
Yeah. And obviously then we get to the time where Dana's going to make the call, and he mentions this backstage thing that's been going on with you throughout the week, and suddenly, you know, that's like a big thing that's really blown up since the fight. And we've seen the clips of Dana talking to you backstage, and when he mentions it, that you're not the most liked round guy here this week, your reaction straight away is, what have I done? So that's why, like, when I saw that, I thought, okay, you genuinely must have offended some people without realizing, because straight away you're like, what did I say? Like, what's gone on? Did you ever find out? Do you still not know what was said?
Yeah, I found out what happened. It was actually two instances what have happened. You know, I don't know how much I could go into detail about it, because realistically, I don't want to upset anyone else by coming out and saying. Maybe they've been told not to, you know, come out and say about it. I don't know.
Right.
So rather than come out and talk about it and upset more people, I'd rather keep it to myself and just adjust from it. But one thing I can 100% tell you is basically a misunderstanding, miscommunication type of thing, as in, you know, I've asked for something or something like that, and they kind of like don't understand the way I'm speaking. You know what I mean? Another situation was kind of like a bit of a crazy situation. I don't really understand it. You know, but it's one of them things. You know, one of them things. Next time, I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut and let everyone else do the talking for me. You know what I mean? So then I don't upset no more, because even my management, who work with some of the best athletes in the world, Paradigm, that says we've had nobody complained on as much as you, other than Conor McGregor.
Really? So, well, yeah. I mean, that's a big claim, that.
So, you know, obviously people don't like me, but it's not something I've honestly gone out my way to try and upset them. You know what I mean? I ain't tried to upset someone or nothing like that. But, you know, maybe just the way I speak and stuff like that. You know, I'm gonna watch the way I am a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, if it was fighters, I would understand it. If it was fighters you were upsetting and they were getting rolled up about you, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds about right. But staff, like, your reaction was so like, but what did I say? So it seemed such a strange scenario, because Dana made it sound like it was this big thing that had been happening, and then when he goes and tells you about it, you're just like I saw you were asking your coach, like, what did I say anything wrong? Or like, it's a weird scenario, mate. I can't remember anything like it.
It's crazy. I mean, like, it's like almost like near enough everything went wrong. Like, I know people, obviously my coaches know the situation, like, as in, I don't even, you know, I guess I can talk about it because, you know, I smashed the geezer and I won the fight. I was fucking badly injured coming into the fight. Right. I couldn't hardly do anything. I had to work around my injuries all week long. You know what I mean? I was getting to a point where I was thinking, fuck, you know, you reckon we can make it to this fight? And I was like, you know what? Fuck it, we'll have to go through with it. You know what I mean? So that's how bad it got at one stage. So people don't understand that, and people don't see these things. But, you know, it's because I don't talk about it. I mean, other fighters, they talk about it. You know what I mean? I've had other fights like that, but, you know, this fight was pushing on close. It was like, fuck, man, you can't even do nothing. You can't do nothing. I'm like, all right, well, we'll have to just carry on. But it's one of them things. I forgot what the question was, but there you go. Yeah.
Well, I mean, ultimately, it became an even. If you hadn't have got signed, it would have become similar to what happened with Brendan Loughnane. I feel like, where people would have been like, but but surely the talent itself is good enough to make that decision for you. But obviously you did get signed, so then it becomes a thing of, it becomes a huge story because Dana completely overrided what he was kind of told to do, and he was just like, I'm just going to sign him anyway. So that then becomes a big thing because it's like he's gone against what he was told to sign you, and then obviously says about, well, he just saw something and he thinks you can go and do big things. So at that time, when you were sat there waiting for that call, and he's kind of going through the things, you know, he's talking about the performance, the weight cut, what's happened in the week. In your own head, then, what are you thinking about?
Well, I didn't expect to get signed and stuff like that. I didn't expect to get signed. I expected maybe another opportunity on Contenders and stuff, because obviously I am a top-ranked guy. I'm the best guy. Was not signed to the UFC, and at the time I was the best guy. Was not signed to the UFC, so I've got 2 world titles. I've had good performances, very flashy performances. I've never missed weight before. Stuff like that. So yeah, I expected maybe another chance. I'm so happy that Dana's given me the opportunity. And said such nice words to me behind the back and on camera, saying how much of a special talent I am. He's gone against the matchmakers, Mick Maynard and Sean Shelby. He's gone against them. Obviously, I don't know why they didn't want to pick me up. More than likely, it's because I missed the weight, which is fair enough, because I know a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people in the media say that I've upset them, but I haven't even spoke to them more than 2 words. I haven't spoke more than 2 words to them, so I don't know how I could upset someone who I haven't spoke to. You know what I mean? So that is obviously fake news. You know what I mean? And they obviously just don't like it that I've missed the weight, which is fair enough. But I'm going to prove that I can make the weight. I've proved it loads of times before. And this is going to be a story with my career now, isn't it? Like, as in, everyone mentions whenever fucking, I don't know, Till fights, oh, can he make the weight? Or whenever Figueiredo fights, oh, can he make the weight? But I can make the weight. It's just one of them things, what have happened. And if anything, it's never going to happen again, but it kind of happens for the best, in a way, because it's, it's like a godsend. Puts these things in your way, and you've got to get through them. And I've got through them, and I've still performed. So, in a way, it's helped with the storyline and everything, because now I've blown up even more. You know what I mean? I've gone like viral because of all these guys going against me, saying, "Oh, I don't want to pick him up, whatever," and I'm still getting picked up. So, if anything, it's just helped the profile.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like it's turned you into, like, if you were making your UFC debut, the UK MMA scene is going to be buzzing. They can't wait. But I always liked the Contender Series anyway, because it exposes you to like the most of like the UFC audience. But now people that don't even watch the Contender Series are going to watch your fight because it's got that narrative. And also, there's a lot of people who think that Dana shouldn't have signed you. Like that's going to be a big thing that's going to follow you throughout the next few fights, at least, because it'll be a big thing of, was Dana right or not? And I saw some people joking as well about how if you had upset the matchmakers, they're gonna, they'll throw you in at the deep end or something like that. But knowing you, I that sounds like what you want. That sounds, like get right in there, because like you said it in the build up to the fight. You're one of the most like successful fighters to ever fight on the Contender Series. Like, so it makes sense to get right in there with the top guys. What, now you're in the UFC?
Yeah, well, to be fair, like, I've never had no favours my whole career. I mean, my 4th pro fight was Kazimierz Zulu, as you know, who had 15 pro fights. They weren't doing me no favours on the Contender Series either, really, because I've watched Contender Series and I've seen guys and then getting favoured fights, then getting easy opponents, then getting fights what make them look good. My original opponent was Clayton Rodriguez, who was a jungle fight world champ. who went on to absolutely smash his opponent on Contenders and make him look stupid. And my next fight is Mitch Raposo, who was an Ultimate Fighter. Who, people who don't know this guy, but the Americans know him, and the the gyms in America know him, and they know he's a special talent.
He was the first pick.
I mean?
He was the first pick on the whole show. Yeah.
The UFC knows he's a special talent, so they weren't doing me no favors in the first place. Second, they can send me straight to the top guys. That's just going to get me to the top quicker. Third thing, though, I don't know what it's like contractively, but contractively, can I fight number 10 guy on my first fight there? Maybe they've got to raise the money a bit, in my opinion. I don't really know. They have to speak to my management, you know what I mean? But I do what my manager says, and I do what Dana says. Third, fourth, or whatever number I'm on, I've never, like I said, I have never spoke to the matchmakers ever. So to say like I've upset them, I don't feel like I have. How could they be upset with me over something another man's done?
Yeah,
it's not my fault that Dana's picked me up. I'm happy Dana's picked me up, but it's not my, it's not my doing. And to be honest, I don't give a fuck who they send me, because I'm going to smash them up anyway, to be honest. I don't see no one. I'll kill all these geezers, no problem. Easy work, light work. So, they can send me to the wolves if they want to. Like, I don't see anyone who, to be honest, I was watching Figueiredo and Moreno last night, and I was like, you know what? Give me Figueiredo first fight. I was like, watching, I'm thinking, fuck me, give me Figueiredo first fight in. I don't care, to be honest. The only thing what upsets me a little bit is that I've heard that, people saying that they don't like me, but like I've said, I'm like, well, I haven't even spoke to him, so it's hard to dislike someone that you haven't spoke to, in my opinion. So I don't think they dislike me. I just feel like they wanted not to sign me, which is completely and utterly fine, because of obviously the weight miss, I believe. But they're going to get some good fights at me, and they'll love me by the end of it, because I'm the man, and I'm going to be champion down there. And you know what? If they push me quicker, I might even beat Rocky to the belt. So, and I'm in a race with him now, you get me? So, whatever.
Oh, I can assure you, Leon does not need any competition in trying to get his hands on that belt. Jesus, he's got enough as it is. Jake, mate, appreciate your time as always. We'll have you back on for the debut. It's got to happen. So I'm sure I'll catch you soon, mate.
Yeah, thanks for that, mate. Cheers.
Dave, mate. Have a good day, yeah? Sound.
And nice one.
Thank you for joining me for this episode of VMTV Vaults with Mr. Jake Hadley. Jake's UFC career has started in a way that is only fitting for him, really. Plenty to talk about, and I'm sure this is just the start of it. So join us on that journey. Hit subscribe so you don't miss an episode of VMTV Vaults, and I will catch you on the next one. Until then, goodbye.